welcome to the Redeemed Esteem podcast. I am your host, Jestina Boone. And here on Redeemed Esteem, we are talking all things real life as we journey through the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation. Genesis to Revelation to attack the identity crisis that was and still is. I had to repeat it for emphasis so that you really understand we are going Genesis to Revelation. But hey, everybody, welcome back. This is episode 3 of the Redeemed Esteem podcast. I really pray that you all have been being blessed by the episodes. This is going to be a really good episode. I think all of them are good, but this one, I know I'm going to have a lot to yap about because I relate to this section that we are going to be diving into today on a deep level, okay? So today's episode, we're going to jump from, we did chapter 1 of Genesis, chapter 3 of Genesis. Now we're going to go to Genesis 12. And Genesis 12 was really significant for me because this is the story of Abraham. Abraham has been a really deep part of our lives at one point. I'm talking about my husband. He's in the background on the camera and whatnot. He said, hey. Anyways, but there was one particular song that I was in love with, and it was called Father Abraham. But we grew up on a children's song. Y'all remember like Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. Y'all remember that? That's just me. I don't know. But I remember that song. Father Abraham was a significant biblical figure that we were taught. Children's Bible study. It don't matter. You encountered Abraham. So Abraham is the topic for today's episode. Well, he's not the topic, but he's a subject. Okay, the topic is going to be my life because Abraham had a very significant, one sec. Okay, I had to do a little adjustment, y'all. All right. So Abraham had a very significant moment in his life. Obviously, we heard the song. He was the father of many sons. Okay. So in chapter 12, Abraham receives what is referred to in the Bible as a call. And we hear it a lot, Christian lingo, any circle that you might run in of Christian dialect, you hear a lot about a call. But there's no phones ringing, y'all. So I don't know if you really understand what that means, because not everybody is, raised in the church and has like that little church background. So you might know a call to be a purpose or what you have been assigned to do with your life. What else have I heard it as? I think purpose is the main thing that I hear people refer to the call as, right? Which is something that you are tasked with to do in your life. Well, Abraham received that. He received this call from God that said, you're going to go and XYZ. You're going to do XYZ. And when I read this call, when I see this call and I identify it with purpose and all of these things, God told Abraham what he would be, what he would do. He told Abraham all of these things. And you know what I loved about this is that Abraham believed it because Abraham started doing ASAP. I don't relate to him in that aspect. God has told me a couple of things. And when I say God has told me, I know that might be completely unfamiliar for some people because not everybody has had an experience of an audible voice or, feeling like you have heard from God. So I'll tell you what my experiences have been, and then maybe that'll help you to kind of start to piece together what this call might be on your life. So if I take it back I'm going to take it back as recent as last year. Actually, let's not go. Let's go before last year because I want to go a little bit before where I actually began to fully walk with God. So if I had to go back to a particular moment, it would be it was after COVID. So maybe like 2021, end of 2020, somewhere around this area. After COVID, first of all, COVID was so scary for all of us. Actually, I don't think I should say COVID. I'm going to say the C was very scary for all of us. Actually, I'm lying, y'all. It wasn't scary for us at all. We were actually really good during that time, wasn't we? When I think about it. Y'all, I really just started to say something that was not the truth. We was actually really good during this time. We were good because honestly, during that time is where God really started to show us that there was something that we needed to be connected to. We just didn't know what it was. So prior to the world being shut down, we were already kind of shutting down the world. We were already feeling like it was a lot happening and we wanted to silence a lot of the noise. So during this time, I just kept feeling like this sense of urgency in needing to read my Bible. Prior to that, I've always owned a Bible. Good Lord. Always owned a Bible. Ask me how many times I would read that Bible. Never. I couldn't tell you where what was what. Like, I still can't do that a little bit. But I didn't read that Bible. But during this time, I started feeling like I need to read my Bible. Like something was happening within me that I couldn't explain. I couldn't tell people I feel something happening. I have no words for this thing that is happening, but something is telling me that I need to do this. I would say that that is probably what a lot of people experience. And I would say that those are the beginnings of a call, right? So it's almost like the phone is ringing. You haven't answered it yet. And you don't know what that person that is calling you is going to say yet. So first you have to be aware that the phone is ringing in order for you to address it. That's what was happening during that time. I would say the phone was ringing. I didn't know who was calling. I didn't know what they were going to be talking about, but I could feel that this phone just keep ringing. Something is happening. My stomach don't feel right. Cause at that time I wasn't saying like, oh, my spirit. I wasn't saying that. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to read my Bible. So that's what I did. Started reading my Bible during that time. And then after that, the more I read my Bible, the more this little ringing started feeling like, oh, this is like somebody that should be saved in your context. This is probably not just a random spam call. Like, this is somebody important calling you. You probably should figure out who this person is that is calling you. So now I'm like, okay, what's happening here? I don't know. I still feel this phone ringing. I still feel something happening. Now I'm understanding, like, it feels important. I have no idea what this thing is. So we fast forward. Now I'm getting to the point of having a relationship. Now I'm praying. Now I'm honestly looking for some relief from this ringing. This ringing will not stop. I don't know about y'all, but I have anxiety with my phone ringing. That's why I keep the silence on. Imagine your phone constantly ringing. That's what that was. It would not stop. So I finally was like, I don't know what you want from me, right? Let's say I'm talking to the imaginary phone. I don't know what you want from me. I keep feeling and hearing this phone ringing. I don't know who the caller is, what the caller wants with me, but what is it? I'm going to answer the phone. I don't know who's on the other end, but I'm going to answer. What is it what do you want with me? When I finally cried out and I said, what do you want from me? Who is this? That is when I started to have these little encounters. And I would say the first time I had like a little encounter where I knew that someone was calling and I didn't know who the caller was I was upstairs in my bedroom. And I remembered that, no, actually, I was laying in my bed minding my business. And all of a sudden, there was like this movie playing. I was awake. I was not asleep. I was awake and there's this movie that's happening. And in this movie, there is me and there is somebody else. And that somebody is knocking at the door. And I respond, who's knocking at the door? And then they knock again. And I respond, Lord, is that you? And then I'm no longer in this movie anymore. Well, what happens 3 seconds later is that pattern of knocking that I heard in the movie that was like playing, I heard it in real life. Like one of my kids actually knocked on the door in that same pattern. And I was like, that was so weird. I don't know what that was. Well, I go to church on Sunday and my pastor is teaching a message. And the title of this message is, "The Lord is knocking at your door. Are you going to answer?" Y'all, if I could have been picked up off the floor any day, it was that day. Because that was the first time that I understood that he was calling me. He's been knocking at my door and I didn't have relationship, right? So it's a spam call. I'm not answering this. I have no idea who this is and what you want with me. Not answering it. That day, that was what I would call confirmation. Okay, the Lord, he got some business with me. That's what that did for me. So you might have had a moment like that too. You might have had these little coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything points back to God. I'm not going to say everything. Most things point back to God when he's calling you. In this arena where we're talking about right now, with God calling you, those things that you would consider a coincidence are not a coincidence. They are divine alignments. God is lining certain things up to be a certain way so that you know that he got business with you. That's what he did to Abraham. So when he did it with me, I finally say, okay, Lord, what business do you got with me? After that, all that I kept hearing, and mind you, this was in 2021. All that I kept hearing was open your mouth. Again, I don't know what the heck you want with me. You telling me stuff that don't even make sense. Why do I keep hearing this? Why is it that I'm not hearing sentences, y'all? This is not a conversation. That's not how this went at all. Abraham, he got real nitty gritty with him. That is not how it was with me. I didn't get a full picture. I literally just got open your mouth. What am I supposed to do with that? So I answered the phone. You telling me to open my mouth. What am I supposed to do? So I did nothing except I wrote it on a vision board that I ended up doing because I got so tired of hearing the same thing. And I just did not understand what this Lord was talking about. I'm trying to be obedient. I'm trying to listen, trying to do whatever it is that you're telling me. Actually, at that point, I'm not even trying to listen to what you're telling me. I'm trying to understand what you're telling me because you're not giving me full sentences. I'm just getting pieces here. So I'm like, okay, open my mouth. Wrote it in big red letters on my vision board, along with other things. So he said, open my mouth. And he kept saying the stage was being set. I don't know what that means. No idea. At this point, I'm working at a call center. I have 2 kids. I have a boyfriend because we weren't married then. We lived together. He's away a lot. I actually stopped going to church once the C actually was full-fledged. So it seemed that the person that was calling that had this urgency that left these words for me, then just stopped calling. That's what it felt like to me. After I wrote it on that board, I didn't think nothing else of it. I don't even think I hung the board up. Like, it was just something I did. But it was like once I put it on the board, it was gone from me. I didn't even think about it anymore. So then when we get to 2023, end of 2023, and the Lord tells me, you're gonna start a podcast. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even listen to podcasts. Why would I start a podcast? Again, I'm seeing this God I know that I'm coming to know, that I'm trying to have a relationship with. He's very mysterious. Like, why are you just giving me little pieces of stuff? And then what I would do, what I started doing was he would give me a piece. And then once I started to see a little bit, like if I could paint the picture and then, you know how like Wheel of Fortune, when you're like, is it Wheel of Fortune? Yeah, I think it's Wheel of Fortune. But you know, when they got the letters, like you keep guessing the letters and the letters are popping up. And then at some point before all of the letters are there, you guess what the word is. And then some people might get the word right and some people might get the word wrong. I was the wrong person. So I would be like, it says lettuce. And he'd be like, that ain't it. Because I would jump ahead. What's that? What is that game? Wheel of Fortune is when they spin it. It's not Jeopardy. What's that? What is the other show? Y'all, this not my generation. I just know about it. But y'all get the picture, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. What's her name? What was the lady name that would tap the letter that make the letter show up? Oh, I don't know. But somebody knows who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Dang, hold on. I got to figure it out now because that's going to trigger me to another level if I don't know what game it is. So game where you fill in the blank. Nope, that ain't it. Let's say TV game show because it was a TV. The Price is no, not The Price is Right. TV game show. It is. What is all of these games? It says it's some other stuff. America says that's not it. This must be some modern day stuff. America says, what is happening? Somebody help me, please, because this is going to drive me crazy. Wait, so I'm going to put old. It's not The Price is Right. Is it? Jeopardy. Wait, what's The Price is Right? I think that was with, hey, yo. No. Oh, my God. Where the lady touches the screen. Oh my gosh. Hold on, y'all. We gonna get back to it, but I gotta get this because I'm gonna keep thinking about it and then I'm not gonna be able to focus on anything else. No. Lady taps letters. Oh my God. What are these games? None of these games are the right games. No, it's not. It's not The Price is Right. Man, I had it right. You made me do all. It's Wheel of Fortune. Y'all, it is Wheel of Fortune. I thought I had the game right. I know I've watched it a little bit. But anyways, yes, I would be the person that would guesstimate and it would be the wrong word. And let me get my train of thoughts back. So yeah, I would guesstimate the wrong word. And so now I kind of got beef with you, right? With you, God, because I hear you calling, phones ringing, all of the things, and yet you're giving me letters. You're not doing it fast enough. Okay. I need more letters because these words you giving me, they're not really making any type of sense. Well, I didn't realize that while he was giving me those letters, he was also taking me through certain experiences, certain life experiences that would be pivotal for the time they would be pivotal for the time that he would use that speed dial where he would call me back and say, all right, now. Okay. I didn't know that. And I feel like that might be a lot of us where we have that experience. We have these coincidences, these things that are lining up. And then we feel like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. But then we look at everything else that's happening around us and none of it makes any sense. How is it that I'm supposed to be a teacher and I'm a firefighter right now? You know what I mean? Like, I apply for teaching jobs. I'm not getting teaching jobs. Clearly, you got something wrong, right? That's what a lot of us do when God is calling, when he tells us what it is that he has for us to do. I would also like to say that that's an identity. Did you realize that? Because Abraham had a call, right? And let's go back to the song for Abraham. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. Okay. So when we think of Abraham, we think of father, right? That was a piece of his identity. That was God telling Abraham, all right, you will be the father of many. You see, do y'all see how God does these things? So I need you to go through the chapter and start to pick out those little pieces of identities and then take a look at where you are and what God has been piecing together for you that might not make any sense right now, but don't forget about it because it's going to come back because he uses everything. Nothing will be wasted. I don't care if I'm going to tell you this one thing, right? I worked customer service jobs for a good portion of my life. even though I was a hairstylist as of recent, right? And it wasn't until maybe about my second year in business why I really understood why God took me from the hair space. So I graduated high school with my cosmetology license and I went straight into the salons. It was the worst experience of my life. I hated every second of it. I didn't really enjoy it. I was just doing it because I had a clear gift and talent in this thing. So I was doing it, but I didn't have like a passion for it. It wasn't something I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a hairstylist for the rest of my. It wasn't that. It was just I'm doing this right now. Well, when I left the salon space, I immediately went into corporate America and I started climbing corporate America. But guess what? I hated that too. Hated it real bad. When I look back now, God brought me back into the hair space after maybe 8 years in the corporate world. He brought me back into the hair space. Guess what skills I needed? Customer service. Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah, I needed customer service skills. I wouldn't have thought that would not have been my preferred route to have 8 years in customer service and then come back around to doing hair. That's not how I would have did it. But it was pivotal. You know why? Because I learned so much by being in customer service. So that's a part of the process. That is a part of what God uses when he is building your identity. We can't just hear one thing and think I'm that now. Nope. Sometimes he got to work some stuff out. So he's going to tell you that one thing, but it's going to be 30 other things before you actually get to that thing. So that's why connection matters. That's why relationship matters. Why we need that. Because imagine I took this one phone call from him in 2021, but he ain't heard from me in the past 4 years, right? Imagine if I was still operating at a call center, right? I never got that next phone call that said, hey, I need you to go back into the hair world. I just told y'all how miserable I was, right? I hated it. I didn't get the second call because I didn't stay in relationship. So you get why, like that relationship is going to tell you when the next thing is coming. Like, I feel like that's a movie too, but you get your phone call. That's your assignment. Okay. Sometimes he's going to tell you what your full identity is, but then you have other assignments and tasks and things that you have to complete before you get to that point. But guess what you need before that? You need to have some type of identity, right? And you also need to believe it. You need to believe what he said. And if he has not said anything as of late to you specifically, he said a ton in his word. So you can stand on that. You ain't gotta, if your phone is not ringing right now, guess what? It's an answer machine service in that Bible. It's there 24/7 and it's telling you what you need. That's the only message it plays. It's telling you who you are. That's the only message it plays. You are a child of God. You are made in his image. He created you. You got it all right there in the answering service. Okay? You have what you need. So if you feel that you don't have what you need, I'm going to ask you, when the last time you called in? When the last time you answered the phone? Because that answer service, it's always ringing. It's always ringing. It's always calling out. It's always just sitting on your nightstand waiting to be opened up. It's just waiting. Open it. See what it got to say. He might change the message. He might give you a new message. It's the same message, but it just sounds a little bit different. You just don't know what you're going to get. That's why you just got to do it. So just open it up and see what he got to say. Okay? Because it's good. It's always good. He always has better things to say than we could think. You could think all of the greatest things about yourself. But guess who really knows? He does. He knows. That's the identity that you want, not the one that you're making, because that can be stripped in a moment, in a second, in an hour. His is firm, it's planted. That ain't changing. Genesis, that ain't changing. It's there. He wouldn't have put it in his word if it was going to change. Because his word stays the same. It cannot return to him void. So if he said it, you better believe it. Okay? So that was episode 3, y'all. I pray that this has blessed you in some way, shape, or form. I truly love you. And I know that this is not an easy process. I am not sitting here telling you that this is an easy process. It is quite difficult, especially if you're like me and you have control issues. You want to call the shots because it feels safer that way. I can tell you that it's a false sense of safety. I thought I felt safe when I was calling the shots. I actually feel much safer having somebody else control my life. I do a terrible job controlling my life. He does a great job though. I'll be like, oh, I like how you did that. It don't feel good in the moment. But when I look back, I'm like, I'm just so glad that you never took your hand off of me. Because it could have been ugly. Sometimes it did get ugly. But guess what? Bounce back. Bounce right back. I ain't stay there. I might have fumbled a little bit, but I didn't stay there. Relationship. I promise y'all that is the key. It is a relationship. And it might sound a lot more difficult than it actually is, but it really isn't. You really just open up your word and he's talking all throughout it. You just got to talk back. I did that plenty of times. I open up that word and be like, I don't know what you mean. I'm not understanding. What was that? And then I'll close my Bible and guess what? He will bring that revelation to you some way, shape, or form because that is what he wants. He wants to be in a relationship with you. So he's not going to leave you nor forsake you. He wouldn't be a good father if he did that. He created us. He is our father. Okay? And he's a good father. So thanks again for tuning in. I really pray this blessed you.
We love you guys.
We love you. I'm getting tired, clearly. But make sure that if you are on YouTube, that you like and subscribe, leave a comment. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, leave us a review. Not sure if you can I've never used the platform. So tell me what y'all can do there by doing it. And then I'm pretty sure I'll figure out that you did that. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Love you. Bye.
From Genesis to Revelation, the story stays the same. We've wrestled with our name through fire and through flame. But now it's time to rise, to know just who we are. Let the redeemed of the Lord say.